Hi everyone, it's Chenso from Reality Art Pod, here to talk about the Challenge 41, Vets and New Threats, episode 15, titled The Best Birthday Present. Last week on the challenge, players were diving through Me Swamp for puzzle pieces. When Ashley and Leo were deemed the dead last losers, they were defeated in elimination against House Vote, Sydney, and Turbo. Before I dive in, I put a link in the description to my Challenge 41 playlist, so you can catch up on my previous recaps. If you like the content, consider liking, subscribing, and using my link to try Paramount Plus for free. Shout out to these winners for guessing the costumes last week. If you're on the screen, check the pinned comment for your prize. But let's dive into it. Back at the house, Nani gives Turbo huggies for winning the elimination. Sydney feels like the whole house wants she and Jeremy out of the game. Anissa and the UK Alliance continue to trash talk Ashley. Anissa reminds us that she's had a rough season dealing with the drama with the other vet women. The Alliance numbers are tight, with 4 teams in the American Alliance and 3 teams in Olivia's UK army. Turbo suggests that the Americans let the UK Alliance win the daily since the winner can't vote, so they can vote a UK team into elimination. The next day, players get to FaceTime. I nearly fell out of my seat when I saw Jenna Compano pop up on my screen. Pregnant, probably parked right in front of her uncle's bakery. Jake calls his dad, who I think is a natural redhead. His parents blow out a candle for him. Tomorrow is his birthday. Theo gets to see his son. That's nice. They head to their daily. Dirty Drifter. Each team will have a driver trapped in a van, covered in chains. Their partner needs to untangle the chains and hook their van up to a big rig truck. The truck will then drag the van as the driver steers, trying to clear obstacles. For every obstacle they clear, they'll shave down some time. The team with the best time will be safe, and slowest goes straight into elimination. Justin and Nani go first. He's powering through but struggling with the heavy ass chains. Nani gets to driving. This is pretty intense and probably terrifying. The van almost flips over, but Nani clears all but one obstacle. Will gets up there doing those chains. Nani is gooning on the sidelines. She asks for them to put this in slow motion, which they sadly do. Olivia gets to driving and she quickly flips the van. Pregnant woman flips van. Jesus, take the wheel. Jake and Anissa have Anissa up there doing the chains. Jake says he wants to drive because he doesn't trust Anissa to do it. For a minute, Anissa looks really cool until the show clowns on her, scoring her with silly music, and Justin makes comments about Anissa's ankle, but she finishes the chains. And after all that work, Jake doesn't follow the directions and completely messes up the drive. Anissa is way more understanding than I would be. I'd be pissed. We have Adrian taking up the chains. She's doing a great job, but Theo starts fiddling with the chains and trying to help Adrian, while TJ repeatedly yells at him to stop. TJ tells Theo after like 10 touches, if you do it one more time, you're DQ'd, and he touches the damn chain. So they do get DQ'd, and Adrian is pissed, but again, not as pissed as I would be. We montage through Aviv, Michaela, and Sydney all doing the chains, looking badass on the process. In the end, the top 2 teams are Justin and Nani, and Will and Olivia, with the winning team being Will and Olivia, who finally worked well together in a challenge that required no teamwork. And last place are Theo and Adrian, who are heading straight into elimination. TJ is still pissed at Theo, and he chastises the players for playing to be in the middle. TJ is always hating the players, not hating the game. Back at the house, the Americans are happy to have the voting advantage, with Anissa and Jake the most likely vote as the only option left from the UK Alliance. Anissa's plan is to flip the American votes to try to get the group to vote in Aviv and Jeremy instead. Jake tells us that not getting voted in would be the best birthday present, and oop, he said the thing. But who cares about Jake's birthday wish? Players are going to the club, where Jake does get served a decadent slice of rich chocolate cake. Remember when they would go to the club and drink Fireball? Jake tells us he's playing for his dog Lenny, who he uses to attract the yummy mummies. Theo and Adrian work it out. They're back on the same page and ready to work together. Aviv encourages Theo, which annoys Cedric and Michaela. They're tired of the fake behavior. Michaela wants Aviv out, and soon. Anissa tries to campaign for Nani's vote, but Nani's like, Anissa, come on. We haven't been working together, but Anissa still tries to guilt Nani into keeping her. Nani feels that Anissa's playing the victim and put herself in this position. So Anissa's not getting that vote. So this campaign is looking like a lost cause. Jeremy tells Sydney he's feeling paranoid. She encourages him to remind Cedric and Turbo that they made a final 3 alliance ahead of the vote. So they head to nominations, where yet again no one takes a claim. What a flop that's been. The votes go as expected. Everyone votes for Anissa and Jake, besides Anissa and Jake, who vote for Turbo and Sydney. Aviv is dressed as Jeeper Creeper's daughter, as she makes a speech that continues to ride the fence. So Anissa and Jake will face off against Theo and Adrian in the arena. Later, Aviv is crying hysterically, a little much for safe. Nominee Anissa coddles her. Even Aviv's friend Nani feels like Aviv is being fake. Michaela tells the other Americans that Aviv needs to retire. They head to elimination, where they'll be playing loose ends. Each team has a spool of electrical cables. It's pretty simple. They need to unspool the cables and wrap them around logs to plug them into their 3 inputs. The first team to plug them all in wins the elimination. They get started. A pretty fair matchup between these teams. I thought the spool would spin, but they need to throw the cables over the spool over and over, and they can get tangled. Aviv and Nani are cheering Anissa on from the sidelines. Anissa and Jake work well together, and Theo and Adrian a bit more messy, getting tangled up more, and Theo is gassing out at times. Adrian and Theo continue to miscommunicate. She gets mad and storms away, But Theo starts listening to Adrian, and they do start plugging in their cables, as Anissa and Jake seem to be stuck, and Theo and Adrian do eventually win this elimination. So this ends Jake's time on the challenge. Someone who I thought would do well, he was the forefront in a lot of the promo material, but he ended up being such wallpaper and irrelevant to the story of the season, besides being a member of the UK Alliance and being a loyal partner to Anissa, in my opinion too loyal. He should have staked his claim at some point and tried to go for a better partner. Throughout, he was saying that Anissa was the best partner in the game, and that's just not true. Like, come on now. I get that these Love Islanders have experience getting backlash for everything they do, but he was more focused on looking like the nice guy than being a competitive challenger. Ultimately, it was his screw up in the daily that nearly had them in dead last, and he got played out of the game, losing this elimination on his birthday, which must really suck. I wouldn't mind seeing him again. I think he's pleasant, and I'd rather him over someone who annoys me, but where's the entertainment? And this ends Anissa's time on the challenge. I'm impressed that she made it 15 episodes on such a competitive season. I have complicated feelings about Anissa because I used to be a rider for Anissa on early seasons, and I feel guilty and disloyal not standing her and rooting for her now. But the show doesn't even attempt to give us hope that she's gonna win. She had some story this season, falling out with the veteran women over her continued drama with Ashley, losing their loyalty in the game, and ending up putting herself in the UK Alliance because she was so close to Olivia. But is she really so close to Olivia? I just don't understand why she can't just play a social game, float in the middle, and allow herself to get dragged to a final. There's no reason Anissa should ever be voted into elimination by her competitors. Even the other players acknowledge how stupid that was. But she really just played herself out of the game with her own poor strategy. In a post-ridiculousness world, I wish MTV would make a new show, like Traitors or Big Brother, where these popular characters can play a game that's not so athletic, so Anissa can move on to better things. But that's all I have to say about this episode. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the episode and Anissa and Jake's departures. If you like the content, consider liking and subscribing. I'll be back next week with more challenge. Until then, you know where to find me. Bye.